Hi guys, it's Jackie. This week we are gonna watch a movie about a man who is in the prime of himself, Match Point. Poor guy Wilton has the ambition to enter the rich society. He moves from Ireland to London to be a tennis trainer. With the tennis club manager's recommendation, he knows Tom, who is a really rich person. Tom extremely admires Wilson's tennis skills. He even invites Wilson to see an opera with him. After the show, Tom introduces his family members. With his good looking and talent for speaking, Wilson easily makes Mary fall in love with him. That weekend, Mary invites Wilson to spend the vacation at her house. She just wants to shorten the distance between her and Wilson. When talking with Mary, Wilson realizes that although she's from a rich family but not arrogant at all, in contrast, she is kind-hearted and gentle. Moreover, Mary can be an ideal stepping stone for him to enter the upper class. So Wilson decides to chase Mary. He also encounters a hot girl, Nola, at the same time. Nola is an actress from America. They meet each other at a party and get attracted right at first sight. But Wilson knows that Nola basically can't bring him any substantive benefits. Plus, Nola is about to marry Tom, but sometimes you can't bear missing a girl at night. After getting married, Wilson still has feelings for Nola. But Mary gives all her heart to him. She asks her father for help. She hopes Wilson can get a good job. Not wanting to let daughter down, the father arranges both a decent and high salary job for him. With the assistance of her family, Wilson can successfully enter the upper class. But human's ambition is endless. At a meeting with Tom, Wilson can't take his eyes off Nola. Nola's attractiveness and personality make Wilson fall down that abyss. One day, the two of them come across on street. Wilson accompanies Nola to her audition. She fails in the audition, so invites Wilson to a bar to dispel worries. Wilson of course can't deny her. They share a lot with each other. It turns out they both come from low social status and having the same ambition. Wilson confesses about his love for Nola, but she rejects it. She thinks with Wilson's talent, he can be successful in Mary's family. She believes Wilson will have a bright future. Unlike her, she can't ever get along well with her mother-in-law. If they're together, it's no good at all. Time passes by. Mary's father increasingly looks up to Wilson. But Nola isn't that lucky. Her mother-in-law always looks down on her daughter-in-law. As for her, Nola is just an unpredictable girl and can't even have a decent job. If it's not for her son, she won't ever let Nola step into this house. On a rainy day, in front of Tom, she embarrasses Nola again. Nola can't stand it anymore. She immediately runs out. She totally gets wet, which shows out the graceful shape. From another house, Wilson sees Nola coming out. He chases right after her. They come across a wheat field. Wilson takes this chance and shows his love one more time. She knows it's wrong, but in this situation, she can't refuse his love. She can't resist Wilson's kiss. The two of them then are totally out of control. After that, Nola always wants to hide from Wilson, but Wilson still wants to keep on that relationship. Wilson then follows Nola when she comes out to answer the phone. He wants to come back with Nola, but Nola directly refuses, because she doesn't want to be related to Wilson anymore. An old saying goes, lucky at cards, unlucky in love. Wilson gains lots of achievement on his career path, then getting married Mary and quickly becoming a real rich person. Until one day, in a tennis race, Tom says he broke up with Nola, he has found another girl and about to marry her. His mother is also satisfied with that girl. Wilson's feeling is complicated now. If it's true, he won't have many reasons to meet Nola again. He tries to call but can't contact her. Maybe this relationship will be ending like that. Wilson begins to work crazily. Depending on his talent and family's assistance, Wilson continuously gets a promotion and seems to be a winner in life. But sometimes, there will be things out of your prediction. One day, when Wilson is coming to an exhibition to meet his wife, he suddenly catches sight of Nola. He thinks it's their fate. Wilson quickly chases behind Nola and asks for her phone number. Right, that time, his wife and a friend appear. She doesn't know she was horned long ago. After greetings, Wilson asks for Nola's number again. She has no choice but to give him. You can know what's gonna go on after that. Wilson tries to escape from work to see Nola. In her room, they do weird and crazy things together. On the other side, his wife hasn't got pregnant, so she's really worried. But Wilson doesn't have room to care much about her. He uses all kinds of lies to deal with people and to conceal his love affair with Nola. This story finally ends up with such an unacceptable bottom line. Nola accidentally gets pregnant with Wilson. She begins to call Wilson more frequent, and tells him to go back with her. Because she has lost 2 kids before, this time Nola decides to keep her child and let Wilson become a father. Wilson is totally in a mess. He doesn't want to leave his wife, nor spending the rest of life with an actress with no future. But Wilson really can't stand Nola's bad temper anymore. In the end, he picks profits. His decision makes Nola turns into another person. She becomes more and more shameless. Wilson doesn't want to meet her anymore. He always says he's on vacation or a business trip to hide from her. Nola is afraid he will leave her, can't stand it anymore. She comes to Wilson's company. She screams out Wilson is a jerk and wants to meet his wife. After fighting for a while, Wilson has to bring Nola back to her apartment. Nola blames Wilson for treating her like that. She even threatens Wilson. At night, Wilson can't fall asleep when facing his wife. A saying goes, just a small mistake can let your love break. To cut the relationship with Nola, Wilson plans to kill her. He gets back to John's house and steals a gun, then hides in a tennis bag. He asks her to meet him after work. Then he tells his wife he's gonna buy opera tickets. After getting off work they will go. That day, he leaves the office early to prepare for the plan. He knocks on Nola's neighbor's door, then lying that he wants to check the camera to go into her house. Then he grabs the gun and kills the lady. He throws drugs on the floor and takes off her jewelry, to make people think a drug addict has just come here. Wilson calls Nola and tells her to come home to wait for him. But she just gets a shot from Wilson when returning to the apartment. Facing Nola's dead body, Wilson freaks out. He quickly stuffs the gun into a tennis bag and escaping for the apartment. He then rushes to the opera house to meet Mary. The aim is to create proof of alibi. Wilson then comes back to John's house to return the gun, and throwing away jewels he took from that old lady. Unexpectedly, a ring is rebounded from the railing and falls on the ground. The next day, that accident becomes headline news in newspaper. They said a drug addict broke into and killed the victims. The miserable lady got killed by this drug addict. A girl named Nola unluckily bumped into him and was killed too. Wilson pretends to be indifferent. He even calls Tom to show his sympathy. But the police very quickly find out the relationship between them. For not bothering Wilson, the police secretly call Wilson to ask for some information. At first, Wilson denies admitting their love affair, until the police give him a diary which writes everything about that adulterous affair. Having no choice, Wilson has to admit that affair, but he still insists on not having any relation with that robber. After Wilson leaves, the police still can't help doubting. Although robbery cases like that are not rare, but Wilson totally has a motive to carry it out. All the unfortunate happens to the lady, and Mary might be just a cover. When the police are about to interrogate Wilson one more time, there is a homicide around Nola's apartment. The robber is also a drug addict. They even find a ring of the old lady in his pocket. This way, that robber accidentally takes all responsibilities for Wilson. Times go by, Mary gives birth, Wilson becomes more important in his house. But he knows that, despite such a happy life, he can never let go of that worry. It's like a nightmare that will be with him until death. People will have countless match points in life, but they can't assure they will be that lucky like Wilson. Okay, that's the end. Don't forget to like, share, comment. Jackie will be back soon. ..